All right, here we go. Welcome into Bengals Breakdown. I am your host, Stone Shields. Thanks so much for hanging out with us here on a Friday afternoon. We've got some breaking news to get to on today's show in regards to T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, and their respective contracts with the Cincinnati Bengals. Going to be talking about that here on today's show. Today's my off day, obviously not at the office or in the studio, but coming at you with an at-home video here to discuss these latest reports involving T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Do want to remind you guys to hit that subscribe button if you have not done so already. When Cincinnati Bengals breaking news happens, we've got you covered with a video here at the channel. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/Bengals TV. We've been with you all throughout NFL free agency. The Bengals obviously were pretty busy early on and have since tapered off since then. But regardless, when Bengals breaking news happens, we got you covered. Hit that sub button for me right now. All right, so I'm just going to read off this report from Ian Rappaport, this tweet that he put out not very long ago. Several reporters have commented on this situation. I believe Rappaport was the first to mention it, but guys like Schefter, Pelissero, Dianna, Russini, who we'll get to as well on today's show, all have made comments. But here's the tweet from Ian Rappaport. He says, the Bengals have made significant progress on massive contract extensions with star wide receivers Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and both could be finalized in the coming days. Sources tell me and Tom Pelissero there's work to be done, but Joe Burrow's wish is close to coming true. Obviously, this is good news if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, and if you are like me and a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Kind of was my way of thinking. I've always been optimistic that these two would get done, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, but I thought this thing was going to drag out a little bit into the summer, right? There's a couple of things that kind of make you scratch your head, right? As the report says from Rappaport, could very well get done in the coming days. Then my thought process is, well, I mean, if you just did it a week earlier, then you could have had it done before free agency, giving yourself some more cap space to work with. But I guess that's neither here nor there. If you get it done early, the earlier the better. But it is a little bit frustrating that it could be early, but just a week late, if you're kind of following me on that. To go back to what I was saying, I've kind of always thought these two were going to get done since the offseason began, going into last year. I thought that was going to be T. Higgins' final season with the Cincinnati Bengals, but then hearing the comments from Joe Burrow, hearing the comments from Zach Taylor, Duke Tobin, how that culminated throughout the remainder of the season, then ultimately how things have gone here in the offseason, I thought they would get done, but I didn't think they would get done this quickly. But I do want to be very clear, nothing is done right now, just significant progress, according to all of these NFL reporters, has been made. So I thought this would kind of drag into the summer, kind of like what we saw last year, but with the end result being a bit different, that Cincinnati ultimately would reach deals with both Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. But according to Ian Rappaport and others, deal could be imminent in the coming days. Obviously, that would be a very, very good thing for Cincinnati. It leads us to the pinned comment of today's video. What is your one-word reaction to this report that Cincinnati has made significant progress on both massive long-term deals for both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Let me know in the comment section. If that ad comes here on YouTube, that's totally fine. Take advantage of it. Get down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Two other reports that I want to touch on here before I go a little bit more in depth with my own thoughts and opinions. Dianna Russini put out this tweet, said the Bengals have been very motivated to extend their superstar receivers. Significant progress has been made with both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, the latter of whom received his first offer from the team during the combine. Expect the duo to receive over $70 million per year combined. That's kind of the first number that has gotten thrown out, by a reporter here recently. I would expect it to definitely be around 70. Going to tie this in with this tweet here from Aaron Wilson as well. Just going to tag on to what Russini had to say. Wilson said on Bengals contract talks with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, several league sources expressed optimism of developing contract talks with average valuations projected of $40 million annually for Chase and $28 million annually for Higgins. Look, I would be very surprised if T. Higgins did not eclipse that $30 million per year mark. If he signed for $28 million annually, that would be a bit of a surprise to me, and that would be very team friendly of T. Higgins to do something like that. Because I tell you what, on the open market, he would garner a heck of a lot more than $30 million. So it is interesting that Russini kind of threw that $70 million mark out there. I think that definitely makes sense, right? Jamar's going to get more than 40 per year. There's different ways to think about that, right? If Cincinnati would have handled this last year, would he be that expensive? No. But, as time goes on, these contracts continue to rise. I mean, we're talking about a guy like Jamar Chase. Well, he just won the Triple Crown, so his number is certainly going to be very, very high. Myles Garrett just signed a record-breaking deal as well, and Chase certainly going to want to eclipse that. Certainly expect him to get 40 at the minimum. I would expect it probably to be a little bit more than 40 as well. The Higgins number is very interesting. Again, Aaron Wilson saying 28. I would be surprised, very surprised, if it was sub 30, but that would mean the Russini report was 70 total, so that would probably end up being about 30 for T. Higgins. But I think this is a very positive thing. If you are the Cincinnati Bengals, you are a Cincinnati Bengals fan. Obviously, there's been a lot of frustration, right, over the past couple of days since free agency has began and how they have kind of handled that. More on that here in a second. But first, another opportunity for you guys to get involved with our show here on Bengals Breakdown. Do you think Cincinnati will reach long-term deals with both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase? Let me know in the comments section. Type Y for yes or N for no. There's been a little bit of pessimism going around over the past few days, again, given how the Bengals have handled free agency. But after this report, has your mind changed? Let me know in the comment section. Type Y for yes or N for no. Kind of going back to, where the frustration has come from. We saw, Duke Tobin really talk that talk at the NFL Combine saying that, hey, we were going to get this done. We were going to make Jamar Chase the highest paid non-quarterback in league history. We were going to do that. We were going to bring T. Higgins back. What did Duke Tobin say? When I'm running a football team, I want T. Higgins. And looks like after these reports that it could be only a matter of time before they get done. Obviously, that is a very positive thing. If you are the Cincinnati Bengals, man, it allows you to get a little bit excited, right? Again, that frustration that you have with, we still haven't gotten an interior offensive lineman, still haven't gotten a pass rusher. You have just neglected the defensive back room totally, an area of your defense that really struggled as well. Those things are very, very frustrating. But if you can get T. Higgins and Jamar Chase back, I think that gets a lot of respect and trust with the fan base again. If you are the Cincinnati Bengals organization, right? Because you went out there at the Combine, both Zach Taylor and Duke Tobin saying, hey, we are trying to get this done. This is our priority to get these things done. And if you go out there and you actually do it with relative efficiency, again, a little bit frustrating it's not done before free agency, but, I mean, it's the Cincinnati Bengals we're talking about here. They like to make these things as difficult as possible for whatever reason. If they can get this thing done before April, shoot, I think that's a kind of a win in my book, to be completely honest with you. We'll see how this transpires. I totally get if you still aren't buying it. If it's a I'll believe it when I see it type thing for you, I don't have any issues with that. I completely understand that. And if my thought process wasn't that this was going to get done at some point, that probably would be, my response is, well, whatever, I'll believe it when I see it. Once I get the notification, the report that this thing is actually done, then I'll believe it. I don't have a problem with people that have that viewpoint, because this is, after all, the Cincinnati Bengals. We are talking about an organization that seemingly always leaves us scratching our heads. But I think it's very positive here on a Friday, things trending in the right direction, just trying to keep that relationship with Joe Burrow as perfect and clean as possible. And if you out there as a Bengals front office and you get these things done before April, it's March 14th here as we are filming this video. If you get those things done before April, the onus shifts from the front office back to the guys in the locker room and the coaches in that locker room. Don't get me wrong here. Do we wish Cincinnati would have handled the first week of free agency differently, attacking needs? Sure. But if they can capitalize and check off all these boxes, if they can get T. Higgins back long-term deal, if they can sign Jamar Chase to a record-breaking deal, I haven't even touched on Trey Hendrickson on this video, if they can get him done as well, the onus shifts. As much as you can be frustrated with this Bengals front office and organization, if they get these things done, it's go time, and you better win. If you're Joe Burrow and if you're Zach Taylor, you better find a way to get these things done. But overall, positive news here on a Friday. Ian Rappaport and others saying the Bengals have made significant progress in long-term deals for both T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, and we could have something official in a matter of days. Obviously, if that happens, we will have a video for you guys for an office shoot. We might happen to go live on our channel as well. So don't miss out on any of our coverage, certainly on both anything on the Cincinnati Bengals, but more specifically here with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Don't miss out. Hit that sub button, youtube.com/BengalsTV, and we'll catch you with another video if any Cincinnati Bengals breaking news transpires.